everybody. Welcome into DWR Randomizer, or if you were here for the previous race, glad you could stick around. It's time for a quarterfinals matchup here. Pav looking to secure a place in the semifinals against Brian Williams 42, former summer tournament finalist who is looking to stave off elimination in this best of three. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Archfield. With me, Dr. Mukau's Value V is your restreamer, and Shahali doing the tracking on this one. Doubleheader for all three of those on the restream crew. Thanks for sticking around, Dr. Mukau's.
Yep, thank you. This should be a fun race here, and we're kind of looking at some of the early stats here. That AP is not great, but they do have hurt to start off with.
Yeah, hurt's pretty nice to see when you have 5 strengths to start, that is for sure. We might get some other assistance from these throne room chests.
Yeah, we're off and running. We need to get the timer started as well.
We've got Torch, we've got Magic Key, so a double key start for our runners today in addition to that hurt spell.
Yeah, so we'll see what the runners decide to do here with their extra key out of the gate.
You can save this, or you can take a walk and then maybe save it on the way back through. Brian's just going to opt to get into the field, it looks like, and start deploying that hurt spell, and he's got a great first enemy for it. This metal scorpion would be worth several levels should he take it out. Lovely find here. Meanwhile, Stones of Sunlight. Yeah, Stones of Sunlight quest item here in the treasury for Pav, as well as a dragon scale. This cluster of levels 9, 7, 5, 13 for Brian.
So that got to level 3. Yeah, it looks like I think Pav may have a gold grind here as well. And whatever this bamboo pole grind is.
I'm guessing either battle items or herbs, but I will see shortly. Pav's going to pick up some more keys, but Brian, meanwhile, takes out that ghost, 3244, and is on level 4 already inside of 2 minutes to start this one off.
Yeah, so if you blinked, you missed some very early and quick levels from Brian.
Yeah, you missed some numbers and a bunch of stuff, but we have Rainbow Drop Cave in the basement here for Pav on that quick check, and he'll get into the field as well. Opts to kind of stick a little bit closer to start. He's going to get a Drakey here to kick things off. Brian's going to take a look. I expect that, yeah, he's just going to take a death here. He knows he's got stuff he can fight, so yeah, there's not much point to saving for his gold for a key at the moment. He can take a look.
Yep, so at the start here, was double key inside of the throne room. So that's how we got the quick start here.
Yeah, I guess the lower right chest is gold, the lower left chest is a dragon scale, the upper left chest is the stones. Was this actually a key? I guess it was a key in the center.
Oh, how
so
about that?
Yeah, Pav was able to just grind those keys to start, and just like that, we're on basically equal footing. Pav has jumped up to level 4. And we're going to trade places now. Brian's going to check the basement, and Pav's going to pick on some metal scorpions. Oh, just got taken out by that one there, unfortunately.
So you're telling me it was keys and not a bunch of bamboo poles?
Yes. Yeah. We are not, in fact, planning to start some sort of Tulun-esque bamboo pole shop.
Maybe in a mod in the future that could be added in.
Yeah. Looks like we've got warlocks in this west zone as well, so this is a pretty nice starting zone. Haven't seen any abilities from any enemies yet that would prove troublesome. So Pav just has landed 2 hurts on this warlock and tried to chip it there, but just landed the one. Of course, the attack power is not in range yet to do substantive damage to any of these enemies. Brian will end up just 1 experience point short of the level after that metal scorpion kill, so he looks like he's going to pick his level 5 up on this Drakey.
We got 9 power, 8 speed, 5 HP, and 6 MP. So decent numbers there on the level. No spells yet, but I think we're still doing okay here for starting off. That hurt is a very nice addition here, starting off for the racers.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a racer in the seed, you feel great about this. You've got full keys and knowledge of the treasury and the basement, and level 5 within 5 minutes. It's a pretty smooth start. So looks like Poltergeist probably in this zone as well. Brian's just gonna stick around here. You can basically cycle out. You take a death, you go straight back to it. No need to concern yourself with it too much. So this should be pretty quick here. Brian just within one good encounter of getting level 6.
And let's see, not quite there yet either. So yeah, I'd say everything's pretty much even at this point. I mean, sure, Brian has a little bit of an XP lead, but as that goes, like, it's very negligible this early.
Yeah, it's kind of fungible at the moment. It's because Brian's only got 12 hit points. He may not survive the next Metal Scorpion attack, but he will get through in this. Oh, he's gonna get rid of his torch. That's an apt use to well ditch that torch there. Very nicely done. So Brian, the first to level 6.
2, 3, 0, and heal more. You love to see that.
I like to see that. Brian's going to top off and take a little bit of a walk here. We've got some swamp to the west. Saw a little bit to the north on his side as well on that first pass. Pav now within a single good encounter of getting to level 6. And we do have our first town sighting. Although this wizard, probably doesn't have anything to say about whether Brian gets there.
And we got Cantlin, so we're going to maybe see some chords here. Well, maybe we'll see. I don't know if the MP can support. It might be able to.
Yeah, I think you can probably get there. What do we got? So we've got 3 heal mores and 42 hit points. You can take 2 steps per heal more. Yeah, I have no idea. You would think.
Guess we'll find out.
Guess we'll find out. You could buy an herb and do it, but you're obviously not going to get back out. Not a huge deal because you're close to start anyway. But Pav, not too far away, has found the town of Remalder, and we'll get to check this single chest. It is a pair of wings, very vanilla-esque.
Yeah, I mean, wings are fine. I guess that's how I feel about wings.
Pretty much. You never know when you might need them. Pav does have enough money here to pick up a copper sword, so he'll grab the first non-dragon scale gear of the seed, as well as a set of leather armor. Brian's going to go ahead and check these shops because he does know he has a gold grind available as soon as they're able to pull one of those off. He has a silver shield there in the lock shop in Cantlin, for instance. So you can get some good gear if you can find some place to grab some chests and take a death.
Yeah, so there was a magic armor and the broadsword in the top shop as well.
Yeah, bottom shop there, basically a repeat of what we saw on the top. So Brian is going to check these coordinates. And we'll kind of test the hypothesis here. I think, there's actually technically enough heal mores to get across. Pav sees a cave on his screen, but is taken out by that armored knight. We'll get a look at these coordinates if they exist. 41 south, 51 south, 41 to the west.
Yep, and yeah, kind of what we were thinking is one-way trip to the coordinates, but that's fine this early, and you don't really have much gold to lose anyway, so it seems like a perfectly reasonable play here to just take the death and get back to it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was interesting too. We saw Brian pick up herbs there in Cantlin, and that's really going to help. The heal more is obviously overkill at this point, or overheal, I suppose, because you've only got 42 hit points, and you really just want your magic points for hurt whenever possible. So if you have herbs to help defray that cost, it can keep you on the grind a little bit longer. But it looks like Brian is actually going to he's not even going to wait for perhaps the full gold grind glitch. He's just going to grab enough. He's got the key here, so you don't spend a key, and he's going to grab a gold chest and gonna get some amount of money. He is at broadsword money already, as it happens.
My favorite, the broadsword.
Yes, broadsword. Terrific value for money. But in the interim, Brian has done all of his Caitlyn checking and now finds himself about 120 experience points or so behind Pav, who is rapidly closing on level 7 with this easily available hurt grind at the beginning of the seed.
So yeah, that looks like that's exactly what Brian was doing, is got just enough for the broadsword, and heading back to Caitlyn right now.
There we go. Pav just barely clearing the threshold for level 7 on that Warlock kill. 13 power, 9 speed, 2 hit points, 16 magic points, sleep, and outside.
Yeah, you love to get outside early, especially if you find some of those caves like the tablet or even like grave or something like that too, or you don't have to waste the time to walk back out.
Yeah, outside before you find any of those locations feels pretty good. Brian getting, wow, just there's a lot of Charlock encounters here around Caitlyn, and he's not going to quite get there. Stoneman with Weak Breath took a big chunk out of his HP. Green Dragon finishes him off. So
R.I.P. the broadsword as well.
Yeah.
Let's see if he goes back in for the word gold, and looks like that's what's happening.
It looks like that's the plan. Pav, meanwhile, with the copper sword and the leather armor on this level 7 with the decent strength pickup on level 7, actually has attack power now such that he doesn't really need to use the hurt spell against much of anything anymore. The hurt will slightly out damage a swing on a metal scorpion, but not to a degree that would make it more efficient in any way.
Now, this might be the first Pav has seen Caitlyn. I could be mistaken about that.
I believe that is correct, so we'll see if Pav takes a similar tack here once he gets a check of these shops. So we've traded places again here. Pav now in Caitlyn, taking a look at stuff that might be available. Brian back in the field doing a little bit of grinding. Brian just needs to pick up a little bit of gold here to have broadsword money again.
I'm going to guess Pav's probably going to do something similar to go check on the chords for probably a one-way trip.
Yeah, I think that's probably quite reasonable. You never know if coordinates are close to home. Always nice to have them sooner rather than later, so that when you do finally set out to explore a given direction, you can count that way if you have the opportunity.
Yeah, and we don't know enough about the map layout right now to know if this is a countable coordinates or not. It seems like favorable. It's not terrible.
Yeah, it seems like it would be favorable based on what we've seen so far. I think we've seen almost 41 west already. I'd probably put Caitlyn at about 30 or 35, would be my guess. Because it's just outside of that west zone, which is, each of the zones are 15 tiles across, so you can get a kind of a sense of where things are based on those numbers.
As Pav gets the coordinates, it looks like Brian is counting right now on his side for the coordinates.
Yeah, if he's going to Caitlyn anyway to maybe pick up a broadsword here, then he can just take a landmark there and tuck that in his back pocket for later.
Oh, that's what good runners do. I'm going to take note of that for myself for next time I run a race.
As counters go, Brian is fairly renowned. He's an excellent counter, and so if you see him do something on a count, that's something that is probably worth copying. Meanwhile, Pav headed north here. I believe that was Rim he just passed up, and it turns out east of Rim there are actually a cave and another town, but this Axe Knight is going to send him back before he gets a look at either of those.
Axe Knight doing his job from the Dragon Lord and denying access to anything that can help our hero.
Having seen that,
recounting again. Armored Knight there as well, nice.
Yo. Got away from the first one first try, but the back attack on the second says Armored Knight will not be fooled again. and Pav is sent back to start one more time. We see Brian making his trip back to Cantlin, does still have that broadsword money, is out of MP, but no encounters this time, so he'll have his landmark and he'll have his broadsword shortly, which will be a good pickup. 61 attack power, very nice. If he wants to stay in that west zone on the limited resources we have at the moment, it would certainly speed things up a little bit. We'll be able to grab a small shield here as well for the extra 4 defense. Actually not negligible, just nudging up pretty close to breaking those warlocks, which is always a nice bonus. It looks like Pav, at least for the moment, has decided to abandon the cave in the town that he saw. He's going to stick here in West Zone. He is only about, let's see, he has 446. So he has, only about 150 experience points from level 8. And this zone has proven itself to be pretty worthwhile. Brian, meanwhile, has counted south, and I think he's taking a landmark here. It does not appear to be passable, at least on this screen, to get further south.
Yeah, hopefully that'll. And for Brian definitely wants to. Hope he can find a way to get over there as quickly as possible and not have to punt on it and try to figure it out again 15, 20, 30 minutes later or something along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. The more information you can pull now, the better. And as it turns out, this winds around to that landmark in very short order. So this could be, if this turns out this territory just goes south for a little ways, then he's in great shape here to just complete this count actually pretty soon. I don't think he's likely to be very far away. A couple of screens maximum. And as it happens, one of the things that can happen when you do a count is that you'll come across another location, but he's sent back. Was in that swamp, and it's tempting to try to preserve some resources there, but hopefully was able to take some sort of landmark of his count as well. I know he has the relatively close landmark too, but if he knows the row that town is on, it would help save him some steps a little bit later. But he's seen that town now. We've seen the unknown town and cave on Pav's side, so there's a lot of options here, and it looks like the map is pretty wide open in most directions.
Yeah, I'll see if Brian doesn't know about the Sharlock level enemies around that zone yet either, so we'll see if he tempts fate to try to go up to that cave in town to the northeast.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, in terms of exploration, to the west there around Cantlin, you've got green dragons and stonemen and wizards, and then to the north you've got axe knights and armored knights. So there's some Charlock preview in all directions here, even if the map is wider open. We're going to see Pav get level 8 with that metal scorpion kill.
Let's see, we have 6 power, 3 speed, 10 HP, 10 magic, and the all-important radiant.
The Radiant spell. How many casts of Radiant do you think we've seen during the course of the entire tournament, if you had to ballpark it?
It's not double digits.
I think probably count them on one hand, and some percentage of those were missed menus in all likelihood.
You always enjoy seeing the stats for Radiant during the group summary stream.
Right. Yeah.
Before the permanent torch though, I was a huge fan of Radiant and what little bit of DWR I've played, so I was a big fan of it when didn't have the permanent torch.
I like the random chest locations flag, and one of the reasons, which is a fairly silly reason to like it, is that it kind of does, even if you're using permanent torch, it makes Radiant slightly more valuable. Just hate that spell sitting there collecting dust.
Yeah, I agree, but also at the same time, I really love permanent torch.
Oh, for sure. I think people seem to be pretty on board with permanent torch.
Yeah, learning to blindly walk through all the caves and even figure out what cave you're in is that's a skill on its own.
Yeah, you kind of have this heuristic that you go through where you think, okay, which caves haven't I seen? Which direction do I bonk to identify which cave I'm in if I don't have a torch?
Yeah, that's also true. Permanent torch is very nice for viewership as well, because
Yeah.
you have no idea where they're at until they run into something, and then like a chest, and like, oh, okay, they were in grave or whatever.
A couple of important developments here. We've got a Wombo Golem on Pav's side, so we've seen a lot of Charlock so far, and not all of it's very good. We saw some weak breath from the Stoneman, I think, but this is the town that Pav saw, and Brian is one step outside of it and gets back attacked by a Rogue Scorpion. Will he be thwarted one more time? He's actually going to go after this here, and with Healmore, it stands a decent shot of getting it, even though it has weak breath. The weak breath doesn't really matter very much. It's going to be about the same damage output as it would be from a melee attack right now.
As Pav gets sent home again by another Axe Knight.
Yeah, he was making progress toward the town and the cave again there as well. This hurt should do it for Brian here. And it will actually get him level 8 as well.
Very nice. So even him back up, and yeah, we'll see what this town is.
Nice. We'll see what town this is someday. Oh, that was maybe not worth the trip, but Brian's certainly out of resources. Out of resources right now, is going to appreciate the inexpensive inn in Breckenary. As Pav checks the cave and finds the second pair of wings in the seed. So he's checked, I think, exactly 2 chests. Well, okay, he's checked the Tangential Treasury, but he's checked 2 chests in the overworld. Apart from the Tangential Treasury, they've both been wings.
Brian about to be disappointed by wings as well after this Rogue Scorpion fight.
Yeah, Rogue Scorpion's pretty nice right now. You can put these to sleep as Pav just did, but they do have roughly 50% resistance. So you can, with Healmore, you can just go after these with Hurt also. 54 hit points. This is actually a really nice enemy to see right now. The attack power's decent, so you can fight other stuff, but I mean, a Rogue Scorpion's a pretty decent chunk of experience that even with Weak Breath is very safe, as you see there, Pav. And Brian gonna get through these with limited resource usage for 70 experience.
Makes it into the cave, and I'm gonna get his precious reward of wings.
I think that was an East Coast sighting on Pav's side. Has headed a little bit southeast of Breckenary here, and found a small dead-end peninsula and then some path to the south, which leads to Charlock, another cave, and another town.
Oh, okay. And there's our Silver Harp trade-in.
Silver Harp trade-in, so we have eyes on both trade-in caves already. Rainbow Drop underneath Tangential Castle.
Yeah, and even, I said this in the previous race as well, but, you know, for me personally, I like, even if I don't have, like, the homework ready to turn in, I like having the information of knowing where to go. Like, that's, like, a big mental relief for me.
You know, it honestly really is, because you think, oh, well, I found this before I have any of the stuff. But at the same time, like, just knowing where they are, so when you do get the stuff, you can make a beeline to it, and you're not out there searching the world, and your last location is, you know, Staff Cave or something of that nature. That can really take a load off. The town here south of Charlock is Garenham. Pav will pick up a chainmail.
Garen hamsters rejoice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, I saw Brian got sent home by the Rogue Scorpion. It might have been on purpose. I wasn't paying full attention, but yeah, we'll see what the chests are here inside of Garenham for Pav. And we got a nothing, probably an herb or something, more different nothing, and then some gold.
Yeah, I think a couple of herbs there. And Brian making his way back toward Cantlin, it looks like stepping this out again. I think
wow. Pav's got the swamp cave. Let's see what the spike is. And Armored Knight.
Armored Knight. So I think he's just going to take a death here. He's not going to head through with the outside spell, something that you could consider doing. But evidently just wants to get out of there and head a different direction.
Yeah, and this could be setting up a gold grind as well.
Yeah, exactly. You have the opportunity, and you saw Caitlin pretty early, so 23 minutes into the seed, Pav, very heads-up play. You can take those 3 chests in the back of Garanham, and then take a Death in Swamp Cave, and you'll be able to trigger your gold grind glitch on the 8th chest pickup. This is chest number 9. He's grinding those keys in the center just as he did at start, and then he's going to grab some gold as well. So Brian is going to continue his count. Pav will be gold grinding a little bit.
Yeah, I don't recall if Pav looked at all the shops in Cantlin, but I'm guessing probably knows there's a silver shield there somewhere, so we'll see how much he grinds up for the gold.
Yeah, it would be an interesting choice. I don't think Pav's seen a bunch of towns now, and I believe that we've seen a flame sword yet. However, we have definitely seen, I know for sure that he's seen magic armor and the silver shield. So we'll see what happens. I guess we would go to, if he wants just magic armor and the silver shield, that would come out to something like 23,000. If he goes much beyond that, could be just a little bit beyond that, could just be a broadsword in play, or if he goes all the way to the tippy top, then he could be thinking, hang on to some money for flame sword as well.
So either way, it'll be a very nice equipment upgrade.
Yeah, absolutely. No matter what he comes away with here, it could be a big deal. Now, this town that Brian was killed outside of earlier by that night, this turns out to be Cole, so we've seen a lot of towns already. Search spot is of Fairy Flute, which,
yeah.
I mean, in this seed with the Wombo Golem, I don't think Brian knows that yet, but he could be very happy about that flute pickup later.
I'll say with the, I'll say speaking of equipment upgrade, the flute. I'll be more enthusiastic about the flute than you, Archfield.
Brian taking a look, and that's sword. Very big pickup here for Brian. Very good count.
Very nice. Yeah, Pav doing a save here, just just in case.
Just in case, and I think that's quite reasonable here. He did have those pairs of wings that he picked up, so he was able to get out of the throne room more quickly. But Brian evidently has something else in mind. I think Brian, generally speaking, if he picks up the sword and big offense in this situation, he probably is going to try to go to the grind that he's picked out. And it could entirely be possible that it's this desert. If there's the Wraith here, as well as the Rogue Scorpion, or something else that he saw that he liked, that could be what the intent is of just immediately bouncing back from Cole in this situation. Because I think sword, generally speaking, especially if you don't have Hurt More yet, it's a license to grind. You want to find the best things you can kill, and unless your other stats are just out of this world, you can kind of take the opportunity to consolidate a little bit. But Pav is going to pick up his magic armor here.
Well, the large shield, so maybe he didn't go into the other shop to know about the silver yet.
Yeah, maybe he didn't check that. I might have been mistaken on that score, but he will.
About to find out.
Yeah.
I saw the small hesitation on buying it there. Like, oh man, I just bought the large shield. And yeah, probably will buy the broadsword down here. After seeing there's not a better weapon option.
Yeah, no better alternative, and as it happens, has enough money left over that should he find a flame sword, he would be able to purchase it. But I think Pav, I'm actually trying to think through this right now. Has Pav just actually seen all of the shops now at this point? He's seen Rim, he's seen Breckenary and Garanham. He hasn't seen Cole yet, I suppose. Would be the only shopping town that he has not yet discovered.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
So it's interesting from our perspective, not only have from between the two runners, we've actually seen all of the towns except for Hawksness, which is, I guess, sort of a town.
Former town, I guess, is maybe accurate.
Yes, yes.
And, kind of just going back to when I played Dragon Warrior as a kid, like, Hawksness, like, I thought that was, like, really cool on, like, the effect.
Oh, yeah.
It's very spooky, and, like, I'm scared to go in here, and rightfully so, for the vanilla game.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a great aesthetic choice, I thought, to just kind of do that. So much of what happened in the game, even though there's honestly not a whole lot to it, is very novel, and there's some interesting choices in the way they went about those things.
Yeah, lots of Sharlock enemies on the overworld, as Lorgon pointing out in chat. I mean, I feel like there hasn't been too much of a need for a dedicated grind spot quite yet, but still early.
Still early. Brian's, speaking of grinding, has picked up an experience lead here, and will get level 9 on this Druid Lord.
Pav sent home again. For level, we have 1 power, 3 speed, 5 HP, and 1 MP. It's nothing too overly exciting there. Brian finding Garenham now.
A real quick note that I've had in my back pocket for a minute here. Brian's most recent death, I believe, was to a Star Wyvern, which had hurt more, so another thing to watch out for a little bit. Pav has to worry about that slightly less at the moment because he has magic armor, but Brian in Garenham will have an opportunity to gold grind here also, should he so choose.
Yeah, we'll see what Brian decides to do. I might be tempted to go outside to see the other side of swamp here, but we'll see. And there's a level up for Pav.
Yeah, Pav has been quite content to stay in the zone and grind a little bit. There has not been... Oh, I think Brian's just going to go ahead and take his Death Warp on this DK, which, as it turns out, also has Wombo. So that was convenient, question mark?
That's got to be scary, just literally seeing nothing and then getting scorched inside the cave.
Yeah.
So yeah, looks like that's exactly what Brian's doing now, is his own gold grind.
Brian headed straight for the treasury just as Pav takes out a metal slime. So a big experience jump there. Takes back the experience lead, at least momentarily. Looks like a hurt Droll Magi in this zone too, so I haven't seen what other enemies are here just yet. I think there might have... I thought I saw a spot at a Warlock earlier, but that might have just been a little bit ways north of here. This is a pretty nice zone for Pav right now, even on the face of it at least. The Droll Magi, not going to do much damage if it just has hurt. As long as it doesn't have a heal spell behind that, it's very beatable. And the magic armor even taking the edge off the hurt a little bit. So this could be a nice zone find for Pav at this stage of the seed.
Yeah, and also have a little bit of opportunity to grow the XP gap while Brian's doing the gold grind here, and ultimately him going to Cantlin to get a silver shield and probably the magic armor as well.
Yeah, and I think... So we'll probably see that from Brian. He has sword already, so he has no need of a weapon. He'll likely just get his armor equipment, I would hope. But yeah, it looks like Druid Lord Wizard in this zone also for Pav, so you have to fade the Wizard at this point, I guess? Although, I don't know, 59 hit points. The attack power isn't where you'd want it to be to fight a Wizard, but with Healmore you theoretically could. He's going to Exacto level 10.
That's funny. The previous race too, I think that also happened. There was an Exacto on level 10 in fact.
How about that? But the big stat gains there for Pav on level 10. And if he wasn't in wizard fighting territory already, he is now. So this zone actually just got a whole lot better. Huge hit point pickup there too. And yeah, I mean, he can stay in the zone for a little while if he so chooses. He's going to go ahead and swing at this wizard right away. You can probably kill this even without having to heal more during the fight.
And Brian resets. Got by the AK-47 there, so preserving the precious gold grind money.
Yeah, and a demonstration of why the safety save is a good idea. Both racers chose to do that, and it's because those enemies around Cantlin are pretty vicious. I don't think we'd actually seen the Armored Knight there just yet before this, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah, certainly northeast of Tantaja we saw him, but yeah, I think you're right. I don't think we saw him around Cantlin.
Oh, and a crit for Pav on that metal slime, so he takes another one out.
Love to see that.
Brian gets knocked down by this Armored Knight again, and has to take another reset. Meanwhile, Pav over here just critting all over the place, mopping the floor with this zone, and has picked up a bunch of, like, 1,000 experience in fairly short order, without even having to heal, or I should say, without having to restore his resources. He's been on the same pool of MP for this entire stretch.
Yeah, this zone's really great for Pav, as you were alluding to earlier, but even better now with I mean, especially if you can crit metal slimes like that.
Yeah, I mean, the metal slimes, honestly, the metal slimes usually kind of weaken the zone a little bit, and of course, it turns out the wolf has DL too, which isn't amazing either. But, you know, if you can get the metal slimes, it's gravy. And here's Pav on level 11, 15, 4, 1, 1, so another big strength jump. And 78 strength all of a sudden, and some orange stats in other categories here. We'll see how long Pav decides to stick to this.
And Brian finishes his shopping, getting the silver shield, and did pick up the magic armor at the previous shop at the top. So we'll see what Brian decides to do next.
Yeah, Brian just about fully kitted out, has everything that is at the top of the scale except for Erdrick's armor, which is still outstanding. But we've got a bunch of checks we have not seen yet. We have seen the Overworld Coordinates, our sword, we have seen Stones of Sunlight Cave, and we've seen the Tangible Treasury, as well as, I guess, the Rim Chest, but neither dungeon yet. We've seen Swamp Cave, so a bunch of checks still out there, and we've got a lot of work to do before this one's in the books.
And I noticed the metal slime has some baby breath. And takes down another one.
No obstacle for Pav in this seed. Has the baby breath, also has stop spell, so that's not really going to... I mean, it could, I guess, stop spell you and stick around long enough to weak breath you to death, but that would be moderately insulting, I think.
It happens to the best of us sometimes, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like Brian might be exploring north of Tantaja now, just to kind of see what's up in that area. I don't know if... I'm actually not sure where Pav is on the map right now.
I think Pav... Yeah, I probably won't even speculate. I think I have a sense of where he is, but I'm not sure that I'm right, so I'll wait. But I think where Brian is actually new territory. We've seen both he and Pav go kind of east of Breckenary to the southeast, where we saw the staff traded in Garenham, but we have not gone north yet. And it looks like Brian, having seen an enemy that he likes, is going to stay put for at least a second and check out the rest of this zone. Green Dragon on his current attack power with sword. Totally manageable and a good chunk of experience.
At 135 for XP, I think. I could be wrong about that.
That's correct, 135, so that's going to get him most of the way to level 10. Just needs one more of those to finish the job. Chat confirming what I had suspected, which is that Pav is actually just kind of in the southwest diagonal zone, so he's just south of that west zone in which they were grinding to start out the seed, kind of in the border of this desert, so... this is a nice find here. Those diagonal zone checks and high encounter rate tiles can be very profitable, and as you see, around a 1,500 experience point lead for Pav right at the moment. Whether or not that stays the case remains to be seen. Brian with the sword, and the longer that he has the sword, the more leverage that he might have to start to catch up a little bit, but we're going to get simultaneous levels here, 10 and 11.
Yeah, so on the left with Pav, we got 6, 5, 3, 23 magic power and stop spell.
So So that's starting to look pretty good. With Sword on level 12 right now, Pav would have 124 attack power, which is pushing your go attack power. Hit points are just barely viable for Charlock. They're in that very thin range, but they're there, and the magic points aren't too shabby either. So the stats are looking pretty decent as of level 12, and it looks like Pav is going to set out. He is on 1 MP, so we'll see what he opts to do here.
Yeah, so I think the grind, it's looking like that may not be as important as trying to find all the spots for all the homework and getting the armor as well. It might be how this might play out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's interesting too, because when you commit to an overworld grind, even if it's a pretty good one, you are, to a certain extent, I mean, you're building some resistance, you're building some survivability, but you're also perhaps fading a little bit of efficiency that might be gained on a spike tile later in the seed. Now, from our runners' perspectives, they've seen kind of all the healing towns, so Hawksness, at least, if it's out there, might not be close to healing, but Garenham at least has Swamp Cave under it, and I think we did see that spike, right? Was that the Armored Knight that Pav saw early in the seed?
Yeah, in Swamp.
So I guess knowing that, that's not like a grind that you love. So from Pav's perspective, he's thinking, okay, well, I've got one spike check left, and if the Hawksness spike isn't great, then this overworld grind might actually be the best thing that I see. So from that perspective, he has a little bit more information than I believe Brian does, because Brian got yeeted out of Swamp Cave by that Wombo DK, which, you know, enabled his gold grind, but at the same time wasn't able to attain that knowledge if he was seeking it.
Yeah, I think, ooh, 2 caves on Pav's side.
Double caves. Yeah.
Looks like that's a grave. So we'll see what Pav... no, Pav's going to go for the top 3 chests for sure, but we'll see if he decides to make the dive. It's also possible that other cave could be mountain as well.
I think I saw Brian just now. I looked away as Pav was entering grave, and I saw Brian enter the north staircase of Swamp Cave. Did he find it from the other side, or did he just outside and then come back?
I missed that as well.
Yeah, so maybe somebody in chat knows if he found it from the other side. Speaking of finding things, there's that armor we were looking for, top 3 of grave.
Well done on your transition there.
I'm gonna do what I can. So Lorgon saying single continent. We've got Swamp North. The other cave is Tablet. So we're now just down to missing Mountain Cave.
Well, yeah, kind of what we talked about earlier. You know, having outside before finding this is going to be very good for Pav.
Yeah, really just cut some time out of the equation. Do have a fairy water here in grave. Hopefully that has a freshness seal on it. Or, pardon me, in Tablet.
Yeah, I don't know I don't bet the freshness of that matters for the potency against the Dragon Lord. I'm not sure.
I guess if it's I don't know if fairy water spoils. Probably doesn't. But if it did in some way, it might just still keep the monsters away on premise because they don't want to be around you.
Yeah, we'll have to research this.
Yeah.
The original developer.
Further study is required. Brian at level 11 now.
Another metal slime on Pav's side. Can Pav get another one? We'll see. That's 2.
Yeah, it's 2. They're just sticking around. That's 3.
Wow.
Whew. A lot of metal slimes here for Pav. That was the 4th, I believe.
Yeah, so he's literally gotten over 1,000 experience points from metal slimes.
Right. And I mean, anytime you kill a metal slime pre-hurt more, it's worth so much. And I don't really want to overstate it either, because for what it's worth, Pav has made some pretty good choices here for his grinding and for his explore as well. He's been pretty clean and efficient so far. But just some bonus metal slimes on top of that has really kind of put the icing on the cake here. He is, about 1,400 experience points clear. So those metal slimes are essentially the separation between our two runners right now, because Brian has had that sword for so much longer. He's able to just be far more efficient with his combat.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Pav still hasn't tried to search for the coordinates yet either. So yeah, that's pretty remarkable that Pav's getting the great choices on where to grind, and getting it's I think it's fair to say it's luck to get metal slimes, generally speaking.
Generally speaking, there's not a whole lot of skill work involved there, unless you're early in the seed and you see a metal slime and you're sub 20 strength, and then you're still sub 20 strength after you kill one. Then I think you're usually well served to go back and just try to get more of those, as long as you have sub 20 strength and they're not going to run from you. But apart from that, yeah, you're just playing the slot machines. Brian has a metal slime on screen. Maybe he can start to make back some of that, but no.
As both runners continuing to explore around here. Yeah, Pav is kind of going in a southwestern direction. It looks like it does continue over this side. I think this is new territory. I don't think we've seen from either side. It could be wrong. Actually, it looks like they're in the identical screens right now.
Yeah, they actually are. They're basically a tile apart from each other, a little high five going across this peninsula. I think maybe Pav has seen this before. That might have led to the north. There didn't appear to be anything up there. And of course, we've seen so much stuff already that large chunks of this map are likely to be entirely unoccupied. We're really only hunting for Hawksness and Mountain Cave at this point.
And I might be mistaken, but I think I saw Brian run away from a metal slime, so I wasn't even going to bother.
He might be ducking him because of that weak breath, and I don't blame him. Level here for Pav, 213, 6-1, and Repel. Repel's a pretty nice pickup, and I will say a 79 agility with that Erdrick's armor and silver shield for Pav, 89 defense, so he'd be repelling everything through this green dragon he just encountered outside of Caitlin, if he so chose, but maybe does not feel so inclined to do so just yet. I'm still working without Hurt More, still a lot of stuff like this green dragon that you can fight, so you maybe actually just want to keep it around for the moment. To answer the question in chat, the town directly south of Charlock was Garenham. We saw that first saw that about 20 minutes ago. Swamp Cave is in the back, which leads to a swamp cave that is accessible on First Continent. So we do have a single continent situation. I don't know that we'd spelled that out in so many words at the time, but that is what we're dealing with.
It's possibly it was Cole, but yeah, I don't remember. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I think Cole is basically due south of Cantlin. So if you go a couple screens west of start, you'll hit Cantlin, and then you have to wind around kind of a little river and a lake to get to the Cole area, which, as it turns out, a little ways south of there is the coordinates, which is where we found our sword. Brian very rudely discovered that the wolves have DL2, and he was sent back. So Pav knew about that from earlier in his grind, but I think that was probably one of the first wolves that Brian had encountered, if I'm not mistaken. So I didn't see that. Pav gets the wolf, and its DL2 is blunted by that Erdrick's armor pickup.
Yeah, I guess just to do it, the tiniest of recaps. Start of the seed, there was an extra key in the throne room, so that gave access to, early access to a lot of things. It turned into a key grind inside of the treasury, and as well as opportunity for a gold grind that both runners have taken advantage of. And then so Brian's done the coordinates count already, which gave him Erdrick's sword. Yeah, I'd say probably otherwise, we're roughly the same as far as exploration is concerned. Other than that armor.
Yeah, I think we're basically the same. I'm not sure that Brian was able to clear the far north before he took that death, as he picks up level 12 here. But Brian has seen, I think, basically fully on the East Coast, had dead-ended all of that, so he knows that everything else is either to the north or to the far southwest. From his perspective, he has not seen Grave yet either, which is where we did find Erdrick's armor on Pav's side. And it's interesting because Pav is... I don't know if Pav has taken a landmark, but he is headed in the direction that the coordinates would take you right now. So... hopefully he did not put that in his back pocket to the extent that he has kind of forgotten to count these out just yet, because it was pretty early in the seed that we did get coordinates. We had Hailmore pretty early. We had those keys pretty early, as you mentioned. So we've had known about the coordinates for some time now and have not gone that direction.
And Pav opting to take the flute this time. Had an opportunity to throw it on the ground, but chose to be pro flute. And yeah, we know about that golem that we found with the wombo early on.
Yeah, Pav found out about the wombo golem, and so you see that flute and you're like, yep, I think this is a good idea.
Yeah, so I think Pav is still just exploring, like, doesn't know he was probably in the neighborhood of the coordinates.
Yeah, the only objective I think he had, well, two objectives, I guess I should say. He has Hawksnest left to find. He also has Mountain Cave left to find. And we're missing the bottom two checks of Grave, but Pav knows where those are should he need to go back to them. So this is all new territory, I think, we're seeing on Pav's side. I don't recall anyone having gone this direction. He's gone kind of east of Cole and is now headed south.
Yeah, and I wasn't paying close enough attention for found cursed belts right now either to know if it's guaranteed for Hawksness or not.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I don't think we've seen... I feel reasonably certain we have not seen 3. But I think we've seen at least 1. Here's, I believe, also a new cave on Brian's side, and he has found Mountain.
So I'll say, speaking of seeing something, a new cave.
Yeah, exactly. Mountain Cave, and so we've still got 2 quest items to find. We've got the stone, pardon me, we do have the stones. We are looking for Harp and Token.
Yeah, we'll see, so far, Wolf Lords in Mountain, which I don't think Brian's unhappy about. It's still a good enemy to fight at this point.
Yeah, they've got the hurt more and they've got heal. That's slightly annoying, but he has 124 attack power. You would not actually expect them to survive very often against a sword swing.
Wraith Knight as well. 1 shot on that one, or a nice 72 XP. And in chest 1, we have the Silver Harp. So there we go. Mountain, very important.
Yeah, Mountain, very important. We need that harp. Pav's made his way back to Cole, so I don't know now if he's dead-ended kind of the entire southeast there, but he might be taking a look here.
And we'll see what's in chest number 2 for Brian. We got the Fighter's Ring, and does opt to put it on to the delight of our tracker Shahali.
Yes, always be nice to your trackers. Equip the Fighter's Ring immediately, unless it's the very beginning of the seed in extremely specific circumstances when doing so would cause you to do less damage against certain things, but that's all weird and I'm not going to talk about it right now. Pav headed back, and there's Erdrick's Token and another Cursed Belt. So, Brian the first with all 3 quest items.
Yeah, Mountain turning out to be hugely important with 2 of the quest items.
And Hawksness at best can be the Death Necklace now.
And some Fairy Water to boot in chest number 5. So yeah, could be Death Necklace, or it could be a bunch of nothing. We'll just have to see. And there we go. How about that?
How about that?
Right on cue.
Right on cue. Brian, with a limited amount of magic points, opts to escape from that Armored Knight. He is very close, within 100 experience points of grabbing level 13. So he's gonna take out the Poltergeist, perhaps just spite killing the Poltergeist there.
Yeah, I definitely do that sometimes if they just like block me, like really, like so I should just attack you the first time.
Yep.
That would have been the first better play.
Yeah. Pav menued, I think, was hoping for return there. He has now fully dead-ended this area. Oh, look at this. Does Brian know about the Wombo yet is the question. I'm not sure that he does.
But he'll be glad he has the flute right now for sure.
Yeah, he is, without the armor, very vulnerable if this thing wakes up, but he is throwing 40s on this golem and is going to get him in 4 swings, so he'll not only get the level, but he'll get the search spot check as well.
Yeah, very nice. We'll have to find out if it's yep, it's nothing. Okay, so Death Necklace elsewhere.
Death Necklace elsewhere, I guess, would have to be either in Charlock or in Deep Grave. Currently not looking like a Death Necklace seed, 128 attack power with sword and level 13, so the Death Necklace is not really material. But Brian, very suddenly and very rudely finding out about this golem here. And we'll at least try to take this one out. But he is he's kind of fringe go as it stands right now on 13. Still with some work to do outstanding to find that armor.
Yeah, so Brian needs to find Grave to get the armor. Hasn't found Grave at all yet. At this point in time, you know, if, you know, let's assume you had like all the homework turned in, like, would you still try to find Grave before assuming the armor might be in Charlock if you don't know yet?
It's tricky. I think from Brian's perspective, based on the directions that he's explored, I feel like he probably has a pretty good sense of where he has left, and there's not much of it. So I think you do, because it is 6 chests fully, right? He needs tablet, and then he would need to check all 5 in Grave. So from his perspective, I think it's roughly even odds that the armor is in Charlock, and I think you want to try to find Grave for sure. It's just starting to feel a little scary because of where the stats are right now. You could be go at any time. And I guess for certain definitions, you're maybe kind of slightly sort of go right now, but not really. It's super thin. You would have to be quite desperate to go on this level.
Yeah, and it's hard to justify without the armor yet either, because like that DL2 breath just does so much damage.
Oh, it's so much damage, and especially now that he knows about the golem, those are easily thwarted, and you probably flute those every opportunity you see them in Charlock. But yeah, I mean, it can still easily be dangerous. You do have pretty good defense here, repelling, you know, a certain amount of things. But yeah, this is pretty tricky here. Pav has another metal slime on screen.
Yep, I was about to mention that too. I think if he gets this, I think that's his 5th metal slime. Mm-hmm. Not mistaken.
Yep. Yeah, pretty sure you're right.
14. So we get 4, 2, 6 HP, 5 MP, and then we got Hurt More finally.
More. He went, that was a classic right there. Went for the heal more, Hurt More popped up. You weren't used to it. You threw the Hurt More on the overworld. You don't like to see it.
The ground doesn't deserve that.
It really does not. It was desert already anyway. I don't...
Yeah, so I believe, 5 metal slimes for Pav. If I'm remembering correctly, I believe the grave was kind of northeast of Tantagel.
I think more to the northwest, if I'm not mistaken.
I meant to say.
Did you get weasted?
I sure did. And that's why I'm in here in the booth and not in the tournament anymore.
Here's Pav making a play that I like quite a lot. He is, for all intents and purposes, he'll have 130 attack power with a sword. So he probably likes his position pretty well, and a good way to consolidate that and see as few encounters as possible is to use some fairy water. You don't have repel on level 14, so he's going to replenish his stock in Brecconary and head out again really just needs to find Mountain Cave quite desperately. And he can even skip Hawksness altogether if he wants, once he does find Mountain Cave, provided he is able to clear it. But yeah, we're in quite a race right now. Brian needs to find that armor. Pav needs to find the remaining quest items.
And I'm trying to remember too. I believe it was the Rainbow Drop trade-in was the basement of Tantagel. I could be wrong.
Yes, that's correct. So Staff Cave was over there by Charlock. Inconvenient. But you bounce over there, you return. Hopefully you have wings. If not, you walk it back to Tantagel to get the drop, and then you have to go all the way back over to Charlock.
Gotcha. And I see Pav is starting to do the coordinates count finally.
Yeah, this count, pretty critical. It will get him sword. He is still missing 4 things from his perspective, so the coordinates may not have been a priority until now.
And there we go, the flute on cue after you talking about it. Trying to take on the golem here on the overworld, not running.
Now, this is interesting. He did see the DL2. I'm not 100% sure that he saw the sleep, so he might not be aware of that, and it could be a low percentage sleep, so who knows. With magic armor right now, though, this is an interesting decision. It will get him level 14, though. And we are roughly even up on experience within just another golem kill, as Brian picks up Hurt More on level 14, as well as a bunch of other good stats.
Yeah, been an excellent race so far. Some different paths for sure, but yeah, all things considered, it's roughly even right now. Also assuming, Pav gets this coordinates count and will get his sword.
Yeah, Pav taking his landmark here at roughly the same spot Brian did. So just needs to cross over this and head a little ways further south of Cole to get his sword pickup. Brian, meanwhile, I think is headed to the northeast. So this is not the direction. Brian's getting currently weasted as well, I think, is what's happening. He does not know that.
Yeah, paths versus Pav. I will enunciate better. So yeah, it looks like Pav resuming the count here, and I think he will be finding the sword very, very shortly.
Very, very shortly indeed. Nicely done.
Yeah, it's always I'm generally like more on the just I'll rescue the princess and I'll take whatever time loss or whatever. But yeah, I hate it when I try to count something and I'm wrong because the panic sets in. So like that's gonna feel good for Pav to just nail it right on the dot there like he did.
100%. If you get it first search, it's a huge relief. Because you can be as confident in your count as you want, but if you do that first search and you don't quite hit it, then it can be a little distressing. Pav has found Hawksness here, which I guess I didn't realize this was quite so close, but having found Hawksness, that means Mountain Cave is not far away.
Yeah, I believe it's just to the south, maybe southwest a little bit. But yeah, Pav will be disappointed finding nothing here yet. But I think we'll be glad they held onto the flute here.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to see... Oh, he's actually going to throw the stop spell first, which is, with armor, probably a reasonable choice. He knows he can do that, avoid the sleep. Maybe he's just going to swing through here and avoid the flute use altogether. You can easily do that in this situation.
Yeah, certainly have the HP to support it at this point with 90 defense.
Yeah, much trickier situation for Brian without armor against this golem, but Pav with the armor is probably just one swing away. He's just going to swing on 42. He might know how close he was. On 130, good attack power, finds the nothing, and knows he has to beat feet to elsewhere.
Yep, rewarded with the nothing. But it looks... Okay, maybe not southwest. I guess I don't remember exactly where the cave was in relation to to Hawksness.
It's nearby, I'm sure. We are going to get a flute use here, though. Golem did not escape from the golem on the first attempt. Did not heal after fighting the golem and is getting back attacked by an armored knight and down to 5 hit points. Very sketchy territory for Pav right there, but he has enough resources left to escape from this.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a gamble there. And, yeah, I mean, it's always a waste of time to, like, walk back to where you were, but it wouldn't have been the worst.
Yeah, there's certainly worse situations to be in, but to stay alive here, I don't even think I was cognizant of the fact that Cole could literally be viewed on the same screen as Hawksness, so this was actually really close.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
To that in the first place. So yeah, it was just, I think the coordinates took you south, right? So you just kind of, both Brian and Pav went that direction, and Pav had kind of cleared the whole southeast as well.
It's a high five.
Yeah, another high five, and that's a really synced up one. Oh, fairy water and a menu wearing off there kind of takes us out of sync, but refilling at the Coal Inn right now. 300 experience points separating our racers. Pav still needs the harp and token, which are in Mountain Cave and very close by. Brian needs armor, which is a little further away, but as soon as both racers achieve those objectives, they can start thinking about what they're going to do next, because it's likely let's see, 132 attack power. I mean, you can win on this level for sure. So clock ticking here a little bit. They are both very close to level 15 too, for what it's worth, so I would expect them to take that despite the current situation.
And we can see Pav did find Mountain and got, the Fighter's Ring in chest 2 and then harp in chest 1. I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 for the token, but we'll get that information very shortly. We'll be happy to have all the homework here finally, and then I'm guessing we'll probably go for it immediately to try to turn everything in.
Yeah, interestingly enough, has the Fighter's Ring now is going to do the last check, perhaps as a just in case. If you get a big chunk of HP on the next level, you could make use of that death necklace. You're here, may as well do it. Meanwhile, Brian into grave.
Yep, there we go. So yeah, this is really interesting.
No, this is really interesting. We got some trading to do. Brian's going to fight this golem without the armor, which for his sake hopefully does not catch us sleep here in between flutes, but he has a bunch of attack power. Hopefully he can clear this in a couple of, probably 2 more swings, and won't have to worry about it. But it is a problem known to us that may not be known to Brian.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Brian has not seen the sleep yet on the golem. Definitely seen the DL2 breath.
Yes, 100%. So one other interesting thing to keep in mind down the stretch here is that we have no return spell on 14. It may not show up on 15, and if it doesn't, then you're either going to need a pair of wings or you're going to need to walk it back from Charlock. So something to keep an eye on here too. And the sleep comes out against Brian here. The breath can't kill him on 75, but he stays asleep for another turn, and it's guaranteed. Oh my goodness, no.
That hurts.
That really stings right now. Brian has to be feeling that one, and that puts Pav firmly in the driver's seat. He does have everything he needs. He's going to go trade the harp right now. He's on his way, and he's probably going to pick up 15 incidentally. And if there's any good stats there, then it puts him in a very solid position to win on 15. Oh my.
Yeah, I was just wondering during that too. It looks like Brian knew exactly on the map where that was, so not going to have trouble finding the grave again.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Brian is in grave.
Yeah. Pav picks up his Staff of Rain. Here again, as I mentioned earlier, the routing a bit of a nuisance on account of no return spell. We'll have to walk back to Tanagel.
Fights a gold man for good treasure there. right back in it. Does make it, I believe. Yep, that first chest was armor, and he's out of there. Doesn't even care what the other chests are. So, be homework time for Brian as well.
Yep, this Armored Knight will do it for Pav. It's kind of interesting here. There is, is that Stone's Cave that's on screen? Because that did have a pair of wings in it. You could just grab those. There's also a pair of wings in Remolder if you were interested in spending 2 keys.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, we kind of. Well, maybe I made fun of the wings earlier at the start, but yeah, they're actually important now. But
oh well, they were almost.
Never mind.
Never mind. We don't have to think about wings anymore. We got return. So Pav just hits that return spell. Level 15 simultaneously. It was enough of a gain to sort of give you some more expected returns against the Dragon Lord here. 136 attack power is pretty nice. In theory, you would only need 10 heal mores, maybe not even that many. You do have 92 defense as well, which is super nice. You're going to be repelling a handful of things in Charlock. So Pav's going to make his way around to trade for the drop just about the time that Brian is going to pick up the staff. This is still within a certain Charlock margin of error, and you never know what could happen. We do have Wombo Golems down there. You have the flute to neutralize them, but you don't always get first turns, so we'll see what happens. There's still a lot in play here. And maybe some other mystery enemies that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, 136, you're looking at a range of 9 to 18 for attacks on the Dragon Lord.
Yep, so if you have stocked Fairy Water, you can use that purely to repel on your way down. You don't have to worry about saving that for your fight.
The MP it's okay. I think it's maybe enough just to get the job done right now, assuming you get a double or two.
I think it's probably within range. I think if the fight goes mostly normally, you would expect to win most of the time on this level. But Pav is going to, looks like, top off here in Garanham, very conveniently located.
So yeah, 98 MP gives you 12 heal mores, and you have 2 extra to spare, which would be enough for a repel, or maybe a stop spell if you. I don't know if we've seen. I guess the golem you could stop spell it if you run into it. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out for how this goes. But yeah, I think Pav chest a little bit ahead, but I think they're going in almost at the same time here.
Yeah, Pav will probably have about a floor or so lead. Brian has to restock herbs here as well as use the inn. First encounters an Armored Knight. The HP is not in a territory where you would think this is automatic to get a Mercy Rule run on the 4th try, but the defense is also quite high, so you're not going to take quite as much incoming damage either. And you can use your herbs fairly freely, because even if this goes south in some way, you can outside refill herbs in Garanham really quickly and just head straight back in. So Pav's going to use his only remaining Fairy Water. Brian doesn't have any Fairy Water, and I will point out the one spell we are missing on level 15 is Repel, so that's that Fairy Water that Pav just used is the only Repel we're going to see on our way down here. And yeah, it's actually a little bit less than a floor lead for Pav as we make our way into Charlock.
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Charlock could be a huge factor here for how this happens. And yeah, we'll see what's on the spike eventually too. That could also have a huge effect, especially if it's a golem again and rushes.
Absolutely. And we saw, actually, there was a red dragon in zone 1 here for Brian as well. And Pav just getting, I think he's going to get mercy ruled here by a stone man. He has to stretch to 4 runs against them, but they have stop spell and weak breath, so they're not a threat. That was just very annoying on Pav's part, and I think Brian took a tile lead.
Neck.
Yeah, we're basically in the same spot. So this is going to be really tight down the stretch here if things keep going as they have been. Brian himself is forced to a Mercy Rule run here against an Armored Knight. Red Dragon blocks Pav a couple times, but he'll be the first into zone 2, which will hopefully be kinder for their sakes. Then again, maybe there just aren't any monsters in Zone 2. Oh, the Fairy Water has worn off, and immediate Armored Knight, so that wasn't repelled anyway.
Bailey V sweating right now on whose audio to possibly use for whoever gets to the Dragon Lord first.
An unenviable position, to be sure. Brian finds a golem in zone 2, goes straight to the flute. This is 100% a correct decision in the situation. You do not chance those. There are armored knights and red dragons in zone 2 as well, so this zone is actually probably worse overall than zone 1 turned out to be.
Breaking news, DK hates the flute, and not reading any other context that he was talking about in chat.
Pav's down to 1 herb. But Brian's cutting into the lead here. Pav also going to the flute automatically against the golems, and it looks like Brian's going to pass him up while he does so. And lead changes hands again. Pav into zone 3 as Brian stops to flute this golem. First encounter in the U floor for Pav is a stone man, which isn't going to do anything. Got a wizard here too. Unfortunately can't repel those, and he is going to get run blocked for a single damage.
Pav the first through the U, and it looks like he'll be reaching the Dragon Lord's floor first as well.
Armored Knights here in Zone 3 making their presence felt very strongly to Brian on this floor. Red Dragons here too, so I think there are actually Red Dragons and Armored Knights in every zone.
Sounds accurate for how DWR probably should be.
Yikes.
We'll see what's on the spike tile here for Pav. Maybe.
Well, here we go. Spike tile enemy. Armored Knight, this is fine. No dangerous abilities here that you know of. I haven't seen, I've hurt moored plenty of these in the overworld. Have not seen any heal more or anything like that, and that would be manageable even if they had it. So here we go. Pav is the first through the spike tile. Not going to mean much of anything until he actually gets to the Dragon Lord. Only has that 1 herb left. And he is going to use it here before the Dragon Lord fight. So, Brian at around the 12 o'clock position in the final floor of Charlock as Pav starts his Dragon Lord 1 fight.
If you want to do the count for Pav, I'll track Brian.
Sounds like a plan. Pav, through losing virtually no hit points, does get back attacked, which is potentially detrimental, but we'll see how these swings go. Starts off with a 10, not what you like to see. As you said here, our range 9 to 18. $25 for Pav after 2. That's 38.
Brian confirmed a fool by the Dragon Lord.
A 9 there, min swing, puts Pav on 60 after 5. Rolls definitely below average so far.
Interesting to note, Brian had to use a heal more on DL1.
A 10 there for Pav, 82 after 7. He's now over a damage per swing below average so far. And another 9, 91. Pav has some wiggle room here. The back attack took a little bit of that away. That 14 will put him on 105. Really, if the swings just kind of hold at average for Pav here, he should be okay. 120. 129. 129. Pav spending his next to last heal more. $13. 142. A lot might depend on what damage the Dragon Lord does down the stretch here for Pav. It's a breath on that attack. 10. 152, so not guaranteed. It's a 9 and he doesn't get it done. So the Dragon Lord has at least 162 hit points, and we might see both runners not make it against this Dragon Lord. That back attack proving to be the thing that took this one away from Pav, at least momentarily.
And Brian's up to 116 right now. 130. So 144.
Very sketchy. 156. Yeah, again, not guaranteed here.
Does it?
A 13 gets it done. How about that? Brian losing resources in the DL1 fight, but he did get there. On level 15, everyone get your GGs out in chat. What a race, my goodness. Brian Williams, 42, is going to stay alive at the 2025 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Summer Tournament. Even this series up at 1 apiece and force a decisive Game 3.
Yeah, I think every roll Brian had on that one was double digits. I wrote down an 18 and a 16 for part of it, but yeah, that was definitely the big difference there, and it looks like Pav's,
and I mean, you had, Pav putting in the forfeit. All the double digits you said Brian had. Pav rolls 4 9s in that fight. Min rolls 4 times, and ended up 4 HP short. I would be interested to see Shahali, if you would be so kind to bring up the Dragon Lord's hit points. Oh no! Why? Pav just a hit point short. 162. Unbelievable.
Dang.
That just feels really bad.
Yeah, Pav had this for sure.
Otherwise, yeah. And I think that, again, that back attack meant there was no double. So, and to kind of sum up too, I want to look at these numbers real quick again. So Pav, 14 swings, 161. That's 11 and a half damage on 14 swings. You would normally expect to do 13, a little over 13 actually, 13.1 in that situation. So he was a damage and a half, over a damage and a half below average per swing. He was like minus 30 damage in that fight. You would have expected him to do like 190 on that number of swings, and he got to 161. So that really stings. Pav is in chat. GG, played a great race, but a brutal finish there at the end, just 1 hit point shy of taking down the race and the series. Man, really, speaking from a runner's perspective especially, really feel for you on that one.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like we're joined by both racers right now here in the booth.
Yeah, that happens. What do you have? 162? Did I roll? What did I roll? 160, 161, something close.
Yeah, tracked 161.
I had 161. My counts are not, especially during commentary, are not fantastic. I don't trust it, but I think I had 161. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured to hopefully see one max attack and gain back those bad rolls early, but obviously it would have been really close, and that was the difference there. Curious to see how the rest of the seed went. I think I've explored every inch of the seed. Pretty sad I missed Mountain and Hawksness when I was at Cole the first time. That hurt a little bit, but I still felt really good, especially because of those 4 or 5 metal slimes.
Yeah, so Archfield, if you want to give a kind of a recap for both Brian and Pav, kind of get them caught up on how things played out.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of things. You went back and forth on exploration, and I think Pav had an experienced lead for a big portion of the seed. He found a good zone after he got broadsword, but really you were kind of going back and forth. One of you was checking Caitlin while the other was grinding, and then vice versa. Brian, you counted out the sword pretty early, and so you had some leverage there and were picking up experience, but Pav was able to not only keep pace, but maintain a lead for most of the seed on the strength of getting some kills against metal slimes, as well as some other good grind decisions. But really, in the end, it came down to Brian, you were missing armor. Needed to find Grave, and Pav, you were missing Mountain Cave, needed to find that for the remaining 2 quest items. And I think, so Brian, I want to start with you. How did you feel about the seed? What were you thinking as you were, I mean, especially when you're in Grave, and I think find out for the first time that in addition to Dragonlord Breath, that Golem also had sleep.
Yeah, I mean, the game did not want me to have armor this seed, apparently, because I knew I was in DL2 range, and I knew that the Demon Knight had it, and I knew I was in a zone with the Demon Knight. I didn't know the Wolf had it, and I think the Wolf actually cost me far more, because I would have seen I would have seen Grave within 10 seconds, and then I went a different way, and so that was so different from there.
Yeah, I actually completely forgot about that, but I did note at the time that wolf had killed you with DL2, and you probably hadn't seen that prior in the seed. And yeah, you were in that you'd just come out of that little passage that went north, I think. And so Grave was just west of there, I believe.
Yeah, I knew there wasn't much left in that direction, so I went the other way, which of course took me to Mountain Hawksness and the vast nothingness of the south. But doing that without armor, I mean, and heal walking and taking more damage and worrying about golems was just not good. So, I felt good about the beginning. I felt good about the early grind and the sword and getting just broadsword and nothing else out of Caitlin just to help accelerate offense, and then setting up the grind later for the defense. So I felt like it all went pretty well until I stopped fighting things, and then I started panicking.
Yeah, totally understandable. And I think Pav may have been in a similar situation. Pav, you were looking for, you'd gotten armor already, and you'd checked Tablet Cave, so you were really just looking for Mountain Cave and Hawksness, as well as still needing to pick up the coordinates, but those were proving elusive. So how are you feeling as you were doing your exploration kind of in the final stretch there?
So I was unsure of where else on the map I needed to check, because I did pretty thorough in all the corners in that area, and I wasn't quite sure where there was left to explore. So I'm like, all right, now is a good time to do the count, get the sword, and see if I could run into it or find it. Even though I knew it was down near Cole, the sword had to be. So I'm glad that I saw a glimpse of town, and I was like, okay, Hawkson's cool, and then right away Mountain after that. So I felt a lot of unnecessary exploration, but that's just the way seeds go sometimes. But other than that, it was great to find that stuff. I still felt pretty good about how I played the seed up to that, point. Sharlock was kind of weird, and of course the Dragonlord was the icing on the cake there for me.
Yeah, going through Sharlock, literally neck and neck, and like the lead changed several times just getting to the Dragonlord.
I'm guessing all those golems on the diamond room for me had me like behind quite a bit. I think I got 3 and had to flute them all. It was bad.
Well, it was kind of interesting because Pav did have about a floor lead, and then your flute, like Dr. Mukau said, it really did just literally change in terms of positioning in Sharlock. I'd guess no fewer than 4 times back and forth. And it wasn't even, the golems put you behind, but then somehow you kind of walked a lot, and Pav had to flute a golem, and then you were ahead, and then Pav got a lot few encounters in the bottom floor and worked up a pretty good lead. So Pav was definitely first into the Dragonlord fight, but just came a hit point shy of taking him out at the end there. Despite full resources, I would point out too, I think.
I lost the heal more and all my herbs before I even started DL1.
Yeah, I would have been happy. I would have been still felt good down a heal more or 2. honestly, and it kind of sucks that I rolled 2 points below average, I guess. And how many swings was it? 15, something like that.
Yeah, I think I had it at 11.5 over 14, which would be something like a damage and a half, over a damage and a half below average per swing. So really, you just turn any one of those 9s that you rolled into a 10, and that's ball game. So yeah, that. Yeah, and like you said, I was shocked because Brian had fewer resources. I think, Brian, you used a heal more on DL1, and I thought, well, he's probably actually still okay here. I don't think it's too bad. So that's the situation that you were in.
Yeah, Pav's math, that sounds right. I was totally fine losing a heal more on the way down. I wasn't really okay losing it the way I did. But and I also did like 90 something damage to the DL1. I actually took my hands off the keyboard when I did the third shot to DL1 because I saw 30 something and I was like, yeah, I did it. And then it did hurt more. And I was like, wait, what happened? I have to do another turn and use a heal more here? Great. So, it was a real mess.
Yeah, I had the best DL1 fight. I swung, he swung for 2, and then I killed him like doing 76 maybe.
I took 4 shots. Took 4 shots to kill DL1. I got no stop spells in those 4. I did get 1 physical at least.
I guess I would have rather roll better on DL2 and have your DL1 luck, though.
Yeah. It's roll high on Dragonlord 2, not roll high on Dragonlord 1. That's the motto. Oh, but GG though. I mean, I'm glad it was a good race. I'm glad it was close for chat to see it back and forth. I'm glad we both ended up exploring the world looking for our last place. I'm glad it was a exciting one to watch back. I can probably stomach watching this one back now. It sounded better for both of us.
Yeah, it came together. That's different things you had to find at the end, but you're both doing homework at the exact same time too, and it just all came together like a really in a fun, entertaining way from a viewer perspective.
Yeah, you both hit 15 at the same time. You were both, getting your trades done at the, virtually the same time. Pav was just a little bit ahead, and it kind of ended up syncing up at the end anyway. So, just
I was really hoping, honestly, that we didn't get return there, because I was really close to Cantland to go buy like 3 sets of wings, and I thought that could be like a nice little speed up to be close to wings when I got the last thing. But yeah, we got it returned, so we could just zip around.
Yeah, we were, Dr. Mukhaus and I were actually talking about that in the booth, because it occurred to us early in the seed, a couple of the first things Pav saw were Rim and Stone's Cave, and they both had wings in them. We're like, you can just pop into Stone's and grab some wings, and then you both got level 15 in return. You're like, I just thwarted our plan.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Brian. If 15 didn't return, I was going to go get a set and a couple extra fairy waters for repel, but didn't need to, thankfully. I was very happy when I saw return, actually.
Yeah, I would have done the walk of shame because I wouldn't have paid attention to it as a runner. So I'm like, oh no, I don't have return.
We didn't have repel either, which I don't know. I never stopped and bought fairy water because at most I had like 2 open spots from the early game, and I didn't really think I wanted to repel that much, so I just never used fairy water, and I fought whatever I fought, and it felt really slow. But I don't think there was a good reason to use fairy water either early. I don't know, Pav, if you thought about it or did it.
I was thinking about it for a very long time, and I finally started doing it, I think maybe level 11 or 12, because I was able to... Remember we got heal more? I think right after that I started utilizing fairy waters to repel when I had them. So I could kill the Axe Knights, survive an Armor Knight, and try to... Even Green Dragons, I was killed a few of those, and Axe Knights on the overworld, just swinging through them with the broadsword and good defense.
Yeah, nice. I should have picked some up in Breck, or Cantland, I guess. But yeah, I hate I don't like selling things. It just feels so slow to go sell stuff. But I think it would have paid off if I did it. I think the problem was I didn't like the grind I saw, so I thought the overworld was still the best experience for a while. Anyways, yeah, it was a pretty challenging seed to go fast, so I liked it.
Yeah, I fell in love with the zone south of the castle. It was Druid Lords, Wolves, which I guess were only 25% DL2. They had to be Metal Slimes, Wizards, and Droll Magi. All very
Droll Magi.
killable.
Yeah.
It was great zone, and I got 3 metal slimes down there, and then 2 of the rest of the seed. It felt good.
That's a lot. I mean, I found that same zone just west of Rim. Like it just, if you go up a zone or 2 from the start and a little bit west, you hit that zone. I just used it to get to level 10 and then took off once I could fight the bigger stuff than wizards. But yeah, the metal slimes had baby breath too, right? So they were kind of annoying, but I didn't get one. Even without repel, I didn't get one.
Yeah, that was a reason why I didn't want to repel either. They're early-ish. I don't know what time, how far we're through the seed, but yeah, I was like, I've been really lucky with these metal slimes, so let's leave the repel away.
Yeah, I think my count. I think you managed to take down 5 metal slimes, Pav, which is, to me, that's pretty impressive. To actually be able, getting 1's usually difficult, but you got 5 in this one.
Yeah, the first one was the toughest fight because he baby breathed me and I was down to like 12 HP. I'm like, I need 1 more hit. So I herbed up, he breathed again. I was like, oh no. And then I got the 3rd hit, thankfully. So he stop spelled my heal more.
They were wily little fellows, those metal slimes. They really had their game plan today. Well, we haven't scheduled our game 3. Our schedules are going to be a little bit tight during the week, but we'll figure it out. We'll get one in to finish the series sometime this week.
Yeah, if it's anything like today's race, that should be another fun one to watch. So looking forward to a game 3.
All these game 3s are going to end up killing me, like in real life.
My Tums are right here, ready for the post game. So, and I needed a couple today for sure.
So, any final comments, Pav or Brian?
Yeah, I feel so far in the tournament. I think all the previous matches I've had a lot of nerves. Like felt nervous, like shaky. Starting the first match, Brian Williams, I think I feel like I'm playing with house money now, and I feel a lot looser. So I hope that helps me in game 3 to calm down. And I've been making good decisions, I think. So just excited for whatever happens for game 3 and after. And this tournament's been awesome so far. So let's keep it up.
Yeah, Pav's been playing too well. I don't like seeing it. I wish he had some nerves. So. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it.
I don't think I have anything else to add. If you want to take us out, Archfield.
Sure thing. I want to thank our restreamer ValueV, who not only restreamed the previous race, but also restreamed this race, and appears to be lined up to do one more race after this. So if you do stick around, about half an hour from now, we've got Hoodie versus Chirno, another game 2. In this one. If you're not privy to the results of the first race in that series, I will not mention any spoilers here in case you want to save race 2 until later. But that one is coming up 1 o'clock Eastern, which, provided I am mathing correctly, is in a little under half an hour. I also want to thank our tracker Shahali, who has also been here for both of our first 2 morning races on this Sunday. So thanks to all of our crew, and thank you to Dr. Mookhouse for joining me on this one. Also did the commentary for the last race too. So it's been a full morning from 3 of our volunteers in specific, but very fun race here in this one. So thanks all of you for joining us. If you want to see the next race, stick around. We'll catch you later.